looking dapper.
Donk. These batteries drain fantastically quickly. But honestly, that's not a bad thing, really, when you think about it. They drain fast enough that I do want 2 of them rather than 1. But that being said, if I only had 1, then I would lose less power. Wouldn't I? Because it'd only be 1 battery's worth of drain. How much do they lose? Because I think having only 1 might be a little bit too few. 400 joules a cycle? That's not bad, actually. So 800 joules, an entire cycle. That's fine. Leafing is keeping everything running. Honestly, the base is running a lot better than I was expecting it to. A lot better than I was expecting it to. Now, I might approve of getting some more polluted water getting sent up there. To that end, actually, I don't even need that. I don't even need that. What I can do instead, and you know what? I would like this place locked. Yeah, I would actually like it locked. Just shut that door down for now. It'll later be useful, but so I'm not gonna just break it. However, I don't want. There we go, that's a bit better. Don't want any of my duplicates getting silly ideas. Wouldn't mind, however, linking up both of these pools to a single pump. How do pumps... It's usually in the top, so we would have it about there, I would say. We would also need power running down here. Currently this one should be able to handle that. Power would go across one more. Research complete. Metal refinery. Right, we should be able to get rid of this now. I mean, we can just get sand from this. But let's have a look. So, refinement. Metal refinery. Produces refined metals from raw metal ore. That is not efficient. This, however, is. Fertilizer synthesizer. It takes polluted water. Generates natural gas and fertilizer. So it loses 10 grams of polluted water. Produces a bit of heat. Maybe one day. Produces a fair chunk of heat. And takes 1.2 kilowatts to run. Wow. Considering my wires can only safely carry 1 kilowatt, that is a serious piece of kit. How much does this run? Yeah, that's only 200. Okay. This one will need very special power. Then it would probably need to be set up. I mean, I could just run the power straight up, I guess, as a once-off kind of thing. It needs a liquid intake pipe, a liquid outtake pipe. What does it take in? Water, I guess, and then let out polluted water? Curiouser and curiouser. I mean, in that case, I guess I could build one down here instead of the compost area once I've set things up. Or I could perhaps build it all the way down here. Gotta go to sleep. Good night all. Good night, Aavak. I'll take care. Red cat forever. However, yeah, we could definitely hook it up down here in some way. I think that shouldn't be an issue. Right, deconstruct all of this for me. Don't need that there. And dig the everything. Actually, look, guys, this is gonna be an awful mess for you. I know, it's gonna suck. How did you do that? What magical sorcerers? Bloody sorcerers. Ah, that sucked. Well, that was probably extremely not what you wanted. Such is life sometimes, however. Let's let some of this run off in that direction. Then we'll slowly dig this down until it's a single pool and set up a pump in there. However, what we can do... Oh, the mesh tile. Right, fire poles. What does it require? Not too much, actually. I should be able to just run it all the way down, I think. Let's give it a shot. So, deconstructing these. Now, wait. Can I build it over this? I can, yeah. Awesome. I'm assuming I need to get rid of all of these. I might not, I guess. No, it seems I do. This is going to be glorious. Hi, Aavak and Flopwops. What, Renosian? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, thank you very much for the cheer. And Plumber's Max, so glad your stream's still going. Hopefully for a while. After a long day, I get to sit back, watch this, and have a beer. Oh, I'm glad to provide such entertainment. Though it is getting on. It's like 5:30 for me, so I'm probably still going to be here for a while. There we go. Get everyone working on that, please. Oh, wow, that's a priority now. Okay. Well, I guess that isn't terrible. Thank you very much for all the disinfecting that's going on. Unreachable dig. You lie. Oh, well, actually, maybe you don't think about it. Very well. Very well. You've not got a nice job. I'm going to be honest with you, probably one of the worst. Heat in this room is probably through the roof at this point. Yep. Right, have we gathered? Oh, we have. So good. Now, your ice See, this be a problem. In fact, this be a problem over here too. Let's not allow all of this horrible evil air to get in there. Now, I'm not sure I want to store the ice. I mean, it says there's no surface gems, but maybe for now we'll take the small chance with it. We definitely don't want polluted ice. Unless we can also set it up over here to just run in there, I guess. That might work. The alternative is to actually store it in here. So for example, you'd have a mesh tile about there. And have the polluted ice, the storage medium there. Let me have a look at this. Can I rotate this? I can. In that case, let's pop that one there. Deconstruct this. And replace this with a mesh tile. What kind of... It's copper. And I don't have copper. Right. Well, in that case, this one goes as well. And we replace both of them with iron. And we're going to do exactly the same over here. Deconstruct this as a 9. Deconstruct this as a 9. There we go. Now we have brought in a Weaswort, so let's get that set up all the way over here. We're going to want a plant pot, I believe. That's a very high priority there. And then another one over here as well for the same reason. Because we're eventually going to get to... Oh, there's a third. Ooh. Now, I actually missed... I asked a question a while ago and then I completely got distracted and failed to read it. If I take all the Weasworts out of an ice biome, will that biome naturally warm up? I mean, it's hard to imagine that these are the reason this entire place is absolutely frozen, but who can say? I need to make sure that ice isn't being liquefiable. Good. Good, good, good. Don't put liquefied stuff over there. There we go. Ice biomes will always stay cool unless you add heat yourself. So the little bit of like heat runoff from like this biome, for example, won't warm this up. Good to know. Enable auto harvest. Wart seed. Polluted ice. So, can I request a Flopbot video? I love seeing them play. I can certainly try to. I mean, it's never the case that I'm not trying to record the videos, but when such a video would happen, I couldn't tell you. We'll upload this. This can also be on auto harvest, and this one the same. Oh, it's got some interesting tiles. What? It is actually something there. Quite a few of these. Right, I would like a Wheezewort here as a super high priority. Same thing over here. Super high priority for the Wheezeworts. I want to see one of my duplicants use this fireman's pole. Someone's just up there, just chowing down on some stuff. There we go. You're going down. Fantastic. I approve. Need another one over here for the same reason. There we go. Now I noticed that they don't seem to be something I can propagate myself. I might cancel one uproot though. Just in case. You need a lot of heat to warm up the ice biome. Okay. That's very, very good to know. Thank you. That is chilling this room. Actually, probably a little bit better than I would want. We'll see how cold this makes it. Because I certainly don't want it to get to the point where there's, it's super cooling the room. It's not quite what I'm aiming for. Water on an 8. And next, I would like to set up storage there and here as well. And on this side, I'm actually going to build just a little bit of protection so water there can't flow out. Because that's really the only place where water could flow out. Over here, these aren't there to protect water from going this way. It's there to, like, in case someone has an accident up here, it doesn't leak into my clean water supply. Realistically, it might be best to have some sort of, like, have this as a reservoir specifically there to store the clean water and then only pump it out into, like, a shallow little pool where people can get it, so that way if they contaminate something, it's only the shallow little pool. There we go. Should sort it out for me. Ah, that's fine. You're out of that, but you'll get more soon. We've got 1 kilogram of gristleberry and 9.3 kilograms of mush bars, but 20 kilograms of lice. So, sure, go ahead and switch over to that for now. You'll only be able to make a little bit more of it, but it's fine. And then, really interesting thing here is that by and large, this is just water that's coming out of the duplicants right now. I mean, we're about to top it up in a big way, but that much water has been made pretty much exclusively from our duplicants. Impressive. The temperature's not too bad over there right now, and this is helping out a lot as well. These are quite warm, but no, things are generally being held fairly well. I think I may move things around a little bit more. I could insulate this floor tile to protect this room from the heat generated here. Maybe. It's not a super high priority for me. What I could do instead is have... You know what? Sure, let's have a very specialized storage. No, I don't think it really matters. We've got a ridiculous amount of seeds here. Let's go ahead and... Actually... I'm going to deconstruct this. And the reason why I'm deconstructing it is that ultimately this is going to make the room a little bit more symmetrical. I can't believe I'm doing this, but okay. Actually, I can believe I'm doing this. I'm me. Of course I'm doing this. But yeah, I'm going to take this up and replace that with flooring. Strictly... Ooh. Have I got any electricity moving through there? No. Strictly so that these lights have the same kind of space. Oh, I'm such a derp. Oops. Didn't think of that. I would like insulated tiles, though. At least along here. And along... Well... You know what? Sure. Well, actually, I kind of want the Wheezewort to move its heat out. So maybe I'll just insulate it up to this point. It's a small gesture. It's not really going to affect much, but it'll look all right, I think. Sure. Gotta say, Aavak, the Jeffries tubes. You stole my idea. What do you mean I stole your idea? I've always done this. I think I was doing this way back when I first started. Or did I do it when I first started? I'm fairly certain I mentioned the idea back then. I have no idea. I can't remember now. I'm pretty certain that it was something I was playing around with back in my first Let's Play series, right towards the end. But no, it makes sense though. I do wish I'd gone for 3 tall instead of 2 tall. Still, it's convenient, I guess. Right, let's get all of this built. If you'd be so kind, I would be very, very happy with you. Looks like my duplicants have a bajillion things to do. Cassandra is a general engineer job. Well done, Cassandra. Let's get you across to an electrical engineer. There we go. I won't need to replace that pipe because the water's coming up from this side. There we go. Yeah, I used them as CO2 sinks. That's right, Bilal. Thankfully, someone can remember what I did in my Let's Plays. I can't, clearly. Right, I'll have a plant pot there. And this will be a common theme in my rooms. You know what? I'm also going to make this place a little bit nicer. Let's get some art in my farm. It'll be an arty farm. Oh, yeah. This should be a reasonably high priority. Yep. Carrying around some abyssalite. Are we going to get these uprooted anytime soon? Possibly not. We've got a bajillion things for people to be doing right now. I really would like to know what's up here, though. People need to stop doing things on a priority 7, though. It's gonna, it defeats the purpose of priorities if you do that. What's the slime lung germ count in here? Not good. I will need to vent that out soon enough. Well, the reason why I put the art there, Ninja, is because it seems to have a accumulate, like it stacks and then spreads a little bit more, or at least that's what it seems to. See? As it builds up there, it just moves around. And besides, people are spending more time here than they are over there. This is where they actually tend the fields. Which is why I've got, I did have art specifically in this room to help with the people who were spending time on the electricity generators. It just makes sense to me. I would love to get a little bit more art in here, though. Ultimately, I would like to be able to do away with my algae deoxidizers and just have vents around the place. Moving the gas to and fro. Why is this not got a breathable atmosphere? Must be... Why? It looks like you have enough. I have no idea what's going on there. Very curious. Very curious indeed. Go ahead and plant that, please. So that we can cool this room down. Yeah, I could pipe oxygen into the rooms from a carbon scrubbing room. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of carbon in here now, though. But what I'm hoping to do instead is to actually pipe air around in here. Just get the cold CO2 and just shunt it around the base. But now I've got the Wheezewarts, it's not strictly necessary. That's insulated tile from the abyssalite I dug up in here. So it's probably going to remain permanently cold. I wonder if that actually has any effect on the other areas around it. Because abyssalite has like 0 thermal conductivity. So one would assume it doesn't send any cold out either. That is, if you make it of something cold, you wouldn't be able to tell. You could put your hand on it. Although it is cold, it's not allowing that heat to pass between it and you. So, interesting. I wouldn't know. But Belial says, by the way, Aavak, myself and the gods of symmetry appreciate you removing that one plant. I'm glad. I'm glad, Belial. Whatever I can do in the service of the gods of symmetry. Right, well, I kind of want exactly the same setup down here now, then. Only this one for... well, actually, let me have a look at the greenhouse. Crops grown in the greenhouse can be tended by farmers to increase their growth speed. And that's really the only benefit. They can be tended. If you don't have any farmers, then it does nothing for you. Which makes sense. Electric grill lacks gristle berries. Let's have a look at you. 12 life cycles for the growth. Oh, that's wild growth. Fertilizer only takes 3 life cycles. So this requires in the wild 24 cycles, but additional domestic growth. Life cycles 6 cycles. This plant will take 6 cycles to grow domestically. And down here, only 3 cycles to grow domestically. I mean, it would be nice to have all of that extra bristleberry being grown. Bristleberries, rather. I don't know. What is our food made of right now? Mostly lice loaf. We got some mush bar, some meal lice. What do you think, chat? Should I go for a second farm of bristleberries, bearing in mind that it is going to consume more water? I mean, I could pump that across. I mean, that's the thing, though, is I could run the water from my grey water instead. But right, let's get this pump built down here. Alas, must be made of iron. That does make me a little bit sad, but okay. More weeds, what's that? We've actually got quite a lot. Slime down there, more polluted water. All sorts of things. Ooh, we can't go any further. Ah, Neutronium. We've hit the very side. Special. Immeasurable. Its statistics are immeasurable. Neutronium is mysterious and extremely resilient metallic element. It cannot be excavated by any duplicate mining tool. Alright. Temperature is whatever. It has no heat capacity or thermal conductivity whatsoever and will melt only at 9,726.9 degrees. Rightio. Ooh, some water up there. That's an interesting little place. That is also Neutronium. Ah ha ha ha. I believe there is something behind this. There will be a volcano or a vent or something at that spot. We've got a fairly large slime biome. We're going to be able to do stuff in there. You got anywhere else where I can spot a Neutronium plinth, a Neutronium platform upon which there will be something magical and wonderful. Something truly wondrous. Perhaps even wonder lovely. That's coal, not Neutronium. Okay, well, I can see where we need to be in order to unlock something potentially amazing. Alright. Duplicants are all snoozing. Let me actually have a look at stations. Textile loom. I need refined metal. 200 kilograms of refined metal of some sort. I'm gonna have to go for this, I think. I'll make a textile loom. Let's pop in there. How much is this network pulling? I mean, it's not strictly safe, but... Actually, no. Cancel that. I wouldn't want to waste my materials. Let's actually build the metal refinery. I'm going to need to pipe up some liquid pipes and such, but let's get this made. We'll pop it right there, so there's gaps, so that I can have things to power it all. Going to need a heavy wire breaker there. Yeah, I guess I could make this out of... Actually, cancel that, yeah. There we go. I should be able to build a heavy wire joint plate. Now, I'm not sure if that can actually connect, though. If it can connect directly through that. For example, if I pop this here, whether that would work, whether that would connect at all. So what I might do instead is actually... pipe it up there instead. There we go. Wasn't I growing the berries to go with the peppers? If so, what ratio is needed? Do you have enough of each? That was something that I was considering doing later. I mean, I guess I could now. They require polluted water and phosphorite. So I would need to get phosphorite for it. So I'm not sure on that one. We may do it, we may not. I mean, there is phosphorite here, but I wonder how you get more. Right. Yeah, I would just get 100 kilograms of it. That's not actually that bad. Okay. Now, I need water moving in. But it doesn't tell me what it needs. Significantly heated liquid. I mean... I guess we could just assume... can it take polluted water, or must it take water? Either or. I wonder how hot the water is coming out. Because technically speaking, if it's hot water that comes out, that would generally mean the germs inside that water are dead. Got a significant amount of slime lung germs in here now. That is most unfortunate. Can we get some disinfecting going on down here? Why all of this is slime lung now, I don't quite understand, but there's absolutely no point in disinfecting this stuff. No, cancel. There we go. But everything else should be disinfected as a matter of some priority. Just make sure that everything is clean that can be cleaned. I'm not sure why the slime lung has completely replaced food poisoning as the pollutant of choice. Yeah, when it was saying that it was going to pump out a significantly heated water. I could put a wheeze water in there to try and pull the heat down a bit. But that's an awful lot of heat. I wonder if it's potential to use this to generate steam. Because if so, you could just create steam from cycling already warm water around the system. Or maybe that really isn't that good of an idea to set up. The problem is the heat in the liquid. Well, that won't necessarily be a problem, especially if I use polluted water and then just send it back down here. Because that'll just sit here and then be input into my grey water system. It's already warm. And that heat is actually helpful, because once it gets hot enough, it'll kill off the germs. At that point, I could transfer it over there, possibly pumping it through something to cool it down before I do so. You know what? Sure, let's give it a shot, shall we? I'll run the wastewater pipe up here for now. There's no reason for me to do that. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to run another pipe all the way back down here. That's kind of a pain in the bum, but... How much heat can this take? Melting point is quite high. We should be fine. Even made of sandstone as it is. Zastiva, Aavak, never played this game. Mind giving me a quick and dirty? Okay, sure. You start off with a couple... It's basically a colony management game. You start off with a couple of duplicants. A few duplicants. In just an empty cave. Not too dissimilar to this one, except it's not as polluted as this one. And it's got oxygen. And it's surrounded in dirt and metal rather than slime. And from that, you build up all of this. Now, the game's chief qualities are that the game models the interaction of liquids, of matter, of heat, all of this sort of stuff, to the point where you can do some really clever things with it. And I think that's one of the really nice parts of the game. Do they have to destroy that? How curious. Why did they break that down then? That I do not understand at all. But please build it back. Let's quick. Oh, it's probably when I went up like that and then I pulled it back down, perhaps. But, yeah, it's got a kind of a sciencey vibe. You can do... It's not too dissimilar to the sort of stuff that goes on with Rimworld. It's a bit more comical in many ways, though. One of the really nice parts of it is you can do funky things with gases and liquids. As I said, everything has a melting point. Everything has, you can vaporize things. You can melt... use pressures and heat to turn things into liquids or all sorts of stuff like that. One of the things you can do is that a colony will eventually just fill up with CO2. You've got various ways of making oxygen, but you're constantly producing CO2 as your duplicants breathe out, etc., etc. And various things there's all sorts of gases, some good, some bad. But one thing that can happen is you end up just having a load of CO2 there. And after a point, you can't just make more oxygen because the pressure will be too high. There'll be too much gas there. So you need to do something with the CO2. Well, one of the things you can do is you can cycle it through a cooling system until it starts to liquefy and eventually freeze. And obviously, in a solid state, CO2 takes up significantly less room than it does as a gas. So there's various ways. Like, functionally speaking, you'd probably never run out of storage space if you were just making your CO2 like that. There we go, that's a bit better. How's the temperature in this room? It's alright, but it could be better. Maybe a second breeze would help out. What's the temperature like up here? Chilly and lovely. Excellent. I could even share the air between these two rooms if I really wanted to. I'm not strictly that worried. I mean, I'm sharing the air through there, I guess. Maybe it would make sense to just completely insulate my my farms. I think it probably would. Especially this one. Or at the very least this one. Simply because I'm having so much trouble keeping this one from overheating. Obey the knight. You are a funny guy. Very, very eager to contribute. Right, let's get this area dug up. Just so we can get more of this dirty water over there. Fantastic. After a point, our system here will just get backed up to the point we can't do too much with it. Which isn't great. Realistically, what we're probably going to need is to split this system off so that we're always pushing a little bit of dirty water up here. Because once this is backed up, if I want to run this, it's going to be increasingly difficult. We'll see. Yeah, disaster Eva. There is thermal dynamics. It's in fact, thermal dynamics is a very, very big part of the game. Different sorts of materials will have different kinds of thermal conductivity. In fact, we can have a look at that in here. So specific heat capacity, thermal conductivity. Obviously, if there's nothing to conduct the heat through, it doesn't. So in answer to the specific question you asked about vacuums, yeah, vacuums don't move heat around them. I'm not sure if there is black body radiation though. I've never seen what happens when metals get that hot. I've not seen if they radiate. The energy is by starting to glow. That'll be an interesting one. Yes, this is grey water. I'm not specifically sterilizing it. Now, there is something that I personally think is a little bit odd, but it's one of the things. In that there are a couple of things that use water. You've got clean water that you want to use for your cooking because it doesn't have any germs in it. However, when it comes to washing your duplicant's hands, or the clean water for flushing the toilet, or the clean water for having a shower in, that doesn't quite have the same restrictions. Now, the only thing that I can imagine is germs will die in certain conditions. Like, for example, whilst food poisoning germs can live and breed in polluted water, they can't breed in clean water. They'll start to die slowly, just because it's not the good environment for them. They're not replacing the germs that are naturally dying. But if you heat the water up to a certain temperature, they'll start dying very, very quickly. Now, obviously, if you're using grey water to flush your toilet, that doesn't matter. That's not really interacting with you. When you're having a shower in it, though, I would have said that you're probably getting covered in food poisoning germs. However, if the shower is, as a part of its function, heating the water up, yeah, I can see how that works. If you're washing your hands in hot water in a sink, yeah, I could sort of see how that works. Realistically speaking, and this is actually reminds me of back when the swine flu was a thing. I was working in Wales in a customer service role, but it wasn't like a call centre. I think it was a housing association, and one of the guys there was a little bit. Oh, of course, this has got polluted water in it, so it's producing polluted oxygen. Hadn't thought about that. Had not thought about that. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be throwing out any slime lung germs. In fact, it doesn't look like there are any germs moving in the liquids in these pipes. So we can just get around that by building. And I'll get back to what we were discussing in just a moment. A deodorizer. We'll have another one over here. I could put it in here realistically, but do I want to? Yeah on that one. I could do. Sure. Okay, we'll pop that in there. Your liquids are backwards in the smelter. You need to flip the direction of the machine. Oh. So it is. So it is. I mean, technically, no, it doesn't matter. Actually. Oh, well, yeah, it is. Actually, it's causing all sorts of nonsense to go on there. Drat. Thank you. I'll need to rebuild this then. Thank you very much for the tip there, though. Let's deconstruct this one then. It's gonna dump a load of horrible water on the floor, isn't it? Drat. While we're in here, though, let's get this room niced up a bit. In fact, let's actually move that. Cancel this. We're going to move some things around in here, because I would actually like some other buildings in here as well. But actually, yeah, back to the conversation. There was one of the staff. The workplace made sure there were hand sanitizers at every doorway and everything, because swine flu was a bit nasty, actually. A lot of people came down with it, and quite a few people died, I think. And he complained a lot. Like, it was a very flexible workplace. You could stay for a long time, right up until the security guards locked up the building around like 8 p.m. You could show up very early in the day, pretty much as soon as the building was unlocked. And he would stay very late. But the thing was, the boiler was shut down at about 5 p.m. because the vast majority of staff left. And overall, that was fine, because the place would stay hot for a good bit of time. It's just that hot water in the taps would stop. And he laid in a couple of complaints to resources that while this was effectively making it, him being unable to wash his hands in hot water meant that it would be germy, and he was going to, there was a higher chance of him getting sick from swine flu and stuff like that. And I happened to be in the room at the time, and it was one of those things, because the thing was, he was quite vehement that this was a really big issue, and he didn't really brook any opposition to his opinion that this was a terrible thing, and that the whole boiler system for the entire building should more or less be kept on for effectively, I think 3 people were there, so they could wash their hands if they use the toilet in warm water rather than cold. And after he left, I didn't say it while he was there. I didn't want to cause an issue, but I pointed out that if the water was hot enough that he was washing his hands in for it to kill the swine flu, he would be washing the flesh off his hands. It would be boiling the skin off his hands at that point. It wouldn't literally be boiling water, that would be coming out of steam. But in fact, I'm fairly certain that I don't even think the swine flu would have died in that kind of environment anyway. But quite a lot of germs aren't going to die until the water is so hot you are going to be scalding yourself at the very least. And there are some that could survive up to the point that the water is turning into steam. Anyway, it's like, that's a ridiculous argument to make. It's comfort. He wanted warm water to wash his hands. And if that's what he was saying, it would have been fine. But because he was making this massive issue for everyone, saying, no, by not doing this, you're putting me at risk. It's like, no, you're putting yourself at risk if you're washing your hands in water that hot. As a company that had to provide social housing to the elderly, there's a reason why we put in scald switches on the tap, so you can't make the water hot enough to hurt yourself. And that's how hot it would need to be able to kill the germs that he was worried about. It was a very silly situation. And I really felt sorry for the girl working resources, because she had to just sit there and take this ear lashing for the boiler not being kept on. It's like, but it wouldn't help anyway. Some people get things into their heads, and I don't think you can rotate this.